Ikaruga is considered by many to be a masterpiece in the spaceship shooter genre, but did you know it has an older brother? Radiant Silvergun is Ikaruga's masterpieces master. It is a master of the masterpiece, a shooter fan shooter. It's the earlier game, its predecessor that came out in 1998 with a lot of similar ideas, but even expanded on. And it really is a fascinating spaceship shooter to talk about, and I'm here to tell you why. Subscribe if you like treasure and spaceship shooter games. So I first got Radiant Silvergun on the Xbox Series S when it was being given away by Xbox Gold. It was by recommendation of Alex of TurboZone. Thank you, Alex. I've come to play
Hi.
and enjoy it today. Hi. So Radiant Silvergun is really fascinating. It's got a very unique combat system in that you are chaining attacks based on the color coding system. With Ikaruga, it was black and white. With Radiant Silvergun, it's red, blue, yellow, or red, green, yellow. I think it's red, blue, yellow. And that is one element of mechanically what makes this game so competent. The other is the combat system. So every button on this Xbox controller signifies a different type of attack that you can do. And it also has RPG level up mechanics. It's just all of these really fascinating ideas. I don't have the three types of firepower, but basically, one is, I think it's called Vulcan. It's a straightforward firepower shot, but if you combine it with a different button, it will shoot backwards. The other is a homing attack that is a bit weaker, but as insinuated, it can hit any enemies that are targetable on the screen. And then the last one is a horizontal shot, kind of like a horizontal, it's like a 45-degree angle shot on both sides. And it's pretty powerful, but it comes up in certain contexts where you have to fire in those angles. You're going to need to master the way that you play this game and play it multiple times. There's a couple modes to play on the Xbox version. This originally came out on the Saturn as a port of the arcade game in 1998. I think it was like 2010-ish when it came out on the Xbox. And the reason is that, as with most treasure games, Radiant Silvergun is hard as balls. It is harder than balls. It is the hard shaft. Be ready for it. So what you need to also bear in mind is that you have a sword. The making of many great spaceship shooters. You also have a sword. Why? Well, I don't know a single spaceship that has a sword in real life, but I love that it's a part of the genre. It adds another element of something that you have to balance. And there are certain types of bullets that you can swing away with your sword, and you bring them in to charge them to use the hyper sword, which gives you moments of invulnerability, which you're going to need. I'm going to be upfront here. You probably will not finish this game. It is so hard playing on arcade mode and story. It's almost unfair. Story mode gives you 1 credit and up to 5 lives. And arcade mode, I have 4 credits right now that I can use on any playthrough. Previously it was 3, so I think the more that you play it, the more credits you unlock. And I can set up to 10 lives. I played this game with 4 usable credits and 10 lives, and I got to what I think is the third to last stage. I got through, and okay, so the way it works is you start on stage 3, and it goes A, B, C, D, E. And then you can pick your path, stage 2 or stage 4. And that one also has a A, B, C, D, E. It's almost boss rush-ish. However, there are segments leading up to the boss rush where you can build your chain, and the chain is helpful for building up your high score and earning extra lives. You can get it every 1,000,000 points. And then also, when I'm playing on the Xbox version, you can choose your chaining style. If you'd rather chain it in the style of Radiant Silvergun, where you need to only attack enemies of the same color in order to keep building the chain. Super difficult. I don't recommend it. Pick Ikaruga style, because that one, as long as you are maintaining chains of 3, whatever they are, red, blue, yellow, or merry, that's another cool one, you can continue building the chain. The merry chain is, I guess it's like Merry Christmas, like, you know, like you've got one of each color. And then there are also secret enemies on the screen too. So just when you play this game, buckle in, have fun. It's an experience. It's a beautiful experience. You know, it reminds me just like visually like a spectacle. Like I think of like how the camera can kind of rotate sometimes with certain bosses. Like there's this one centipede boss where like that was happening. Really cool. I hope to earn another credit so I have a chance of at least getting to the last or second to last stage. I've put a good 3 hours into this game total. I would recommend switching between story and arcade. The benefit of playing story mode is that your level up progress saves, so you can go into the next time you play that save file with the higher power of that weapon. However, you still only have the one credit. So I really don't see you clearing either the 12 or 17 stages, whatever it is, on one credit. But it's fun to just kind of get the hang of and to kind of breeze through when you're like, Vulcan is just like taking up the entire screen. So when you kind of play around with it, that's when I think you can go back to arcade mode and have a decent shot, literally and figuratively.
So I've I've heard of this game, but I way more had heard of Ikaruga. Why do you think that is? If this game is like Ikaruga but better.
Better is qualitative, and I think that's up to interpretation. It's more complex. I think it has the makings of Ikaruga, but seeing as how spaceship shooters can already be kind of too difficult for people, I think Ikaruga is a more approachable, complex game, if that makes sense.
Mm.
I think Radiant Silvergun is for those who feel like they've mastered the masterpiece. I'm sorry, not Ikaruga. I feel like Radiant Silvergun is for those who feel like they've mastered the masterpiece that is Ikaruga. I think it's just too much. It's daunting. It's really daunting, but it's so much fun. It is addicting to kind of come back and keep playing and keep getting better and really feel that level of progress. Yes, I made it further. Yes, I took down this boss. I didn't lose a life here. And then also another thing to consider is that Radiant Silvergun was import only back in the original era. Ikaruga was one of the earlier, I guess you call it ports, home ports of the arcade game in 2001 to the GameCube, and lots of people had a GameCube, so lots of people had played Ikaruga in that way. So there's that aspect to it as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say platform. I mean, Saturn, especially here in the U.S., definitely wasn't as popular as the Dreamcast or GameCube. So I guess more exposure for Ikaruga.
Okay, that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
have read though that despite that fact, a lot of people were importing it and hailing it as one of the greatest spaceship shooters ever made at that point in 1998.
Where do you put it as a spaceship shooter guy? Because like we talked about Ikaruga and it's wasn't really the best when we talked about it in our video that I don't think it's come out yet. Spoiler alert. Um, but where would you put it in terms of all the shooters out there?
Uh, See, it's just hard to answer that because I'm answering from my personal perspective and not kind of like the broader perspective. And by the way, if you want to hear the full opinions, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Wait for that episode to drop, and then you can kind of reserve judgment. With Radiant Silvergun, the pros that I give it is it's like so impressive. It's so grand. When I'm listening to the music, it reminds me of like a blend between Fire Emblem and Star Fox music, if that's even possible. And then it has like the visual presentation of, let's say, like a Ray Storm, where it feels like you're kind of like seeing multiple perspectives on the game. I love this era of spaceship shooters, like I think it's generation. Is that N64, Saturn, PS1, or fifth generation? When it really feels like they're testing the waters with 3D. Even when you see treasure games on the Genesis, like they're just so beautiful, and kind of stand apart from other Genesis games at the time. So for that aspect, I mean, I think it's really up there, and it does put it above a lot of like Genesis era spaceship shooters for me. For that reason, I think it just really suffers in approachability because I have this game set on very easy and I'm playing with 50 lives and I'm still dying at the presumably second or third to last stage. And
Wow.
these bosses, even on very easy, are bullet sponges. So I almost feel like it's unfair. I couldn't conceivably call it the best spaceship shooter.
Okay. Like maybe it's just a balancing issue that's holding it back from being considered one of the greats.
Yeah, from what I've read, this game was play tested by people who were already proficient as spaceship shooters. So the level of attainability of seeing this game through is, it just feels like it was designed for the best of the best. And while I'd love to say I could reach that status, I really, I don't know. I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, I haven't
I think it's great though.
put too much. I haven't put too much time into this one. I need to though, because I really like Ikaruga. So I need to. I feel like I owe it to myself to play this one, and it's one of those games that like you said, the Xbox gave away the 360 version one time, and I was like, cool, I'll put it in my library, and then I just never played it. It's like, yeah, I'll get to it. No, I never did. But I mean, I've just the legacy of this game alone is always like, I've always thought maybe it's like known as one of the greatest shooters of all time, because you always hear about it, especially, within the, I don't want to say circle that I'm in because I'm not in a circle, but like within like the stuff that I watch where like, I'm into Saturn collecting, it's like people won't shut the fuck up about it whenever it comes to like Sega Saturn games. So.
Yeah, it dominates that market, the Sega Saturn import collectors market, people saying like you need Radiant Silvergun. Yeah, I feel like I hear that as well. Good luck though. You'll need it.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.